just going to piggyback off Shane and just say you can come up with a million reasons why not to go. But, man, don't miss this. I know the world's busy. I know you have schedules. I know you have things to do. I know it's a Saturday. Just come. You know, whatever, just come. Even if you don't have a ticket, you didn't talk to Shane, show up Saturday morning. We'll scooch over. We'll provide you a seat. So just come. So, but anyways, I'm here to introduce. We have Jack and Joe Winterbower here somewheres, and they went on a mission trip to Barbados that the church helped send them to. So they're here to report back on that. So I'd just like to introduce and welcome Jack and Joe.
Good morning. If we haven't met, I'm Joseph, and then this is my brother Jack. So in December, late December, right after Christmas, we went on a mission trip to Barbados through where we live at Mizzou, called the Christian Campus House. So we went with a group of about 36 people, give or take. And so, yeah, this is our presentation that we made about it. So we stayed at the Windward Islands School of Evangelism, or WISE, and we stayed there for a week or so. So when we got there, you'll see on the left here, this was like once we got to the airport, that was their little like welcome to Barbados area as you walk off the tarmac. And then that truck was what we loaded all of our luggage into. So we fit about 36 people's worth of carry-ons and backpacks all in the back of that truck. We had a lot of help, a lot of hands helping to get everything moved. And then the one right below that is just like what the airport looked like after we got through customs and everything. And then that on the far right is what our living situation was. So Jack and I shared a room, and then, I mean, it's just a little small room. We lived in the boys' dorms that they have there on the campus. So WISE is a Bible school. So they actually, during session and everything, they have students there, they teach and teach them the gospel. You can head on to the next slide.
So these are some pictures of the campus itself. The school is built on an old plantation, a sugar plantation, from around the 1800s. Actually, it goes even further than that, back to the 1600s, originally used by the British. But the school itself, absolutely beautiful. As you can see, a lot of color in the buildings, pink sidewalks, but absolutely beautiful campus, and they have students, you know, around, some that stay on the campus year-round, others that go back home. But the mission of WISE is to educate and push out leaders and ministers and good, just godly people all around the Caribbean. A lot of their students come from these Caribbean islands, but also a lot from African countries as well. You can head on to the next.
So this was kind of like day one for us. So we had lots of different projects going, but Jack and I, we were in charge of painting this house. So this is the girls' dormitory, one of them at least. They have multiple for the girls at least, and then they have one for the guys. So we repainted their house, and so we've got just kind of day one was just scraping off paint. We had one of our guys was trimming down a hedge so we could paint the wall behind him. But day one was a lot of just preparation for what was to come for us to repaint. You can go to the next slide.
So we worked on this project, a total of around 3 days?
Yeah, 3 or 4 days.
But these are just some more pictures of us. As you can see, we kind of had to get a little crazy, climb up on the railings and whatnot to scrape everything. But as you can see, there's a lot of smiles on our faces. A lot of good work, a lot of hot days, but a lot of fun.
So these are some of the other projects that we had going. So on the left, we had a group that was helping repair water lines. That one specifically, that one had a leak. So they had to dig it out without puncturing it really, more than what it was. And so then they had to repair that water line. And then we were setting up new ones for that middle picture. We were setting up a new tank, a water tank for them to have more water and store. And then we have one group was setting up this memorial pavilion area. So they laid out concrete and then they built posts and everything, put a little roof over top of it, and then we had another group that was painting murals. So that was one of 2 murals. I don't think we ever got a picture of the other one, but that was the mural that they painted in memorial for one of the professors that had recently passed. And then that bottom right picture was of one of the groups that was their process to make the concrete. And then also we repainted that pickleball court that she's standing on. You can go to the next slide.
So up there on the left, you can see that mural a little bit better. This is before the concrete was poured, but a lot of the process for that was shoveling all the resources into a concrete mixer and then taking it by bucket and pouring it out and smoothing it. So a big, long task. At one point, I know we had a whole assembly line stretching across the property. So all hands on deck, so to speak. There in that middle picture, you can see that's actually Joey on a ladder there, and I feel like he lived on that thing for days on end. So definitely a tedious task, and I mean, when we weren't using paint rollers, we were up there with hand brushes. So definitely a long task. And you can also see this house is bright pink. So at the end of the day, you ended up, kind of looking like the house yourself. So you can head to next.
So this was our fun day. So in the middle of the week, we took a break to go just explore and see the beauty that is the island of Barbados. So we went scuba diving, and we went to just on the beach. So there was this place called Pier Point? No, not Pier
Something
Point.
like that.
I can't remember what it was called. But it's a fun place for like families to go to. And what's really cool is that the best way that they put it for us was that Barbados is the British equivalent of Florida. So this is where they go if they want to go on a beachy vacation. So it's kind of just fun because instead of seeing a bunch of Americans around on the beach, they're all British. And so we went here for just kind of a fun day, and then by the end of the day we went to a restaurant and we got to see a beautiful sunset there. But that was a segment of the group, not even, honestly, not even a fraction of the group in that picture there. Yeah, you can go to the next slide.
So this is kind of our last day of projects. You can see all the people that helped paint the house that we worked on up there in the top right picture there. And you can't tell, but I think Joey and I are in the back and we have our war paint on. So we had some fun there. But you can see the end of the mural project. They're hanging up lights there. It's getting dark, and we pretty much did work sun up to sundown. So you're working long days, and it only gets hotter as the day goes on. But in the bottom left, you can see the finished product. That pink really pops, but we also painted, all the trim and whatnot. So a long process, and as you can see, there was a lot of people involved, and we're, grateful for everybody that went on, did that project with us. And then in that bottom right photo, you can see they're finishing up, repainting the lines on the basketball, pickleball court. We also put up new baskets for the court, so students and professors alike can get back to playing basketball over the course of the semester.
So this is more just kind of the natural beauty of Barbados. So every morning, there would always be a group. We'd go out, walk out 10, 15 minutes to the cliffs.
At what time?
Before sunrise even was. So
About 5
right.
a.m.?
5:15 was usually the time we'd agree on to leave. It was some early mornings, but I mean, it never disappointed. These are all sunrises from Barbados, and that bottom left was some of the guys. They were going snail hunting on the cliffs. They just decided to go posse up and go find some snails, but I mean, every morning was a different sunrise, each more beautiful than the last. You can go to the next slide.
These are some scenes from various different events that we held. In the bottom right, you can see everybody kind of sitting down, hanging out. This is actually in the Miami airport. Before we actually got on our plane to head to Barbados, we did a little devotional talking about just kind of the beauty of God's creation and how we're called to go out and work with people of all backgrounds. And so it was just a lovely time just to, be there in the airport amongst God's people and to be talking about his people. We also held other events, like we had a fire pit and a cookout one night with a little devotional. We got to celebrate New Year's, which was a lot of fun, getting to spend New Year's in a different country. Not a lot of people stayed up till midnight, but we were troopers, so that was a lot of fun. And then we also held a trivia night one night as well. And you can kind of see in that bottom left picture there, but this is actually the church on the school's campus. It's probably about a fourth of the size of this room, so it's not very big. But nonetheless, they have a lot of fun as the students and the professors alike, share and learn about God's Word.
So then this was our last day, full day in Barbados. We went to church there. So Jack and I actually went to the same one, but we had two groups going to two different churches. So we went to one called Ruby Christian Church. So those two pictures on the right are the church itself from the outside and then on the inside. So the service is really interesting. They have, you kind of just start by just singing. There's no real, nobody really says, let's get up and sing. You just do. And you sing for a while. I'd say we sang for maybe an hour or maybe more.
They like a lot of repetition. So.
Yeah. And then you just get maybe a 30, 45-minute sermon, and then we sing a little longer. And then everybody just meets up and congregates with one another and just talks about your day, talk about your week. And they were all very, very welcoming, though. They were all so happy to have us there and us alike. We were just, it was just amazing to see how worship is held in a different country, but also just, around the world in general, how we can all unite in our own just love for God. And then that picture on the left that was there, that was actually how we crammed everybody, with our group at least, to get to church. So that's about, I think we had 20 or 21 people in that van.
And a van meant to hold, maybe 10. So, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a guy literally laying long ways across.
No, I took the photo, don't worry. Yeah, Jack's up there on the right, and I took the photo in the very back. And then the one in the middle on the bottom, that's closer to the full size of the group. I think we were still missing a few people, but that was about the entire group that we had gone with. And then we had some time to kill because we had finished all of our projects, so we went to a different beach called Glass Beach. And the thing with that is that there are bottles that have been thrown off cargo ships or fallen off. Then the salt water will warp and crystallize almost these glass bottles and shards, and so they just look like colored pieces of rock almost. And the texture is completely changed from glass to just a very smooth, rocky material. So it was really cool. And this beach specifically is known to have a lot of sea glass there. But yeah, that was the majority of our trip to Barbados. So I just wanted to say thank you to the church for funding and helping us get to go and just help spread the word of God and just to be able to be in that opportunity itself.